increase superimposed upon that surge, which could make January even worse than December.
Next week at Holy Cross Hospital in Fort Lauderdale, folks who received the initial Pfizer injection are supposed to get their follow-up shot. But that's a big problem because they don't have more vaccines. In San Diego, more Pfizer vaccines than they needed. To prevent it from being tossed after being brought from the deep freeze to room temperature, more than 300 San Diego firefighters and police got their own 911 call. And this morning, a highly contagious strain of COVID, first detected overseas in England, has now turned up in this country for the first time. It was found in a Colorado man in his 20s who had not traveled.
It is more transmittable, so it is more contagious, and therefore it is more dangerous in that regard.
The best protection, including against that new strain, vaccines. But the Trump administration promised to inoculate 20 million people by year's end, falling far short.
It's not as if we didn't know that there would be this level of demand for vaccination.
In Florida, which has a record 22.7% positivity rate,
busy signals and no answer.
82-year-old Arnie Joseph among those anxiously trying to make an appointment to get the vaccine.
I've had 3 friends die from this, so I take it pretty seriously.
Hospitals in Tennessee, Georgia, and Texas now overwhelmed with a record number of COVID patients. In the current coronavirus epicenter, California, many ICUs are full.
Patients are dying like flies. It's like a war zone, and we're asking for help, and help's not coming.
With a second straight day of record COVID hospitalizations, the U.S. is potentially on course for an even bigger spike because of continuing holiday travel.
We're going to have an increase superimposed upon that surge, which could make January even worse than December.
Next week at Holy Cross Hospital in Fort Lauderdale, folks who received the initial Pfizer injection are supposed to get their follow-up shot. But that's a big problem because they don't have more vaccines. In San Diego, more Pfizer vaccines than they needed. To prevent it from being tossed after being brought from the deep freeze to room temperature, more than 300 San Diego firefighters and police got their own 911 call and then raced to get vaccinated.
An NBC analysis of the current rate of vaccinations shows that it would take 10 years to reach 80% of the country being vaccinated, and that's an important number because that's when herd immunity would begin. But 10 years, Craig, far longer than we anticipated.
Bueno, estamos vivos. We alive? Are we live? Hello? Testing, 1, 2.
Keep talking.
Bueno, there we go. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, ¿cómo están? This is Wilikin. Está tomando este tremenda on the Latin Jazz and Salsa Show. What? I'm doing a little memory lane, a little history memory lane here, going back to, I don't know what they call it nowadays. Niña. Epa, música, maestro. Epa, y seguimos la música, no se olviden. Bueno, aquí todos no se olviden, estamos un poquito, vamos a comenzar un poquito aquí a las 2:30 cuando comenzamos. We start at 12:30. And 12:30 to, I think it was 12:30 to 3:30. I'm a little slow right now because
hey guys, we
I'm
got
back.
an early show. Welcome, William. What's going on? Stop the man that shows up to Oasis.
Yo, what? Stop the man.
Muchísimas gracias, Will. Thank you for coming in.
Gracias por la
Starting
invitación.
off, bro, your family here, man.
Yo, thank you so much.
Are you kidding me?
Stop the madness.
You know? Hey, listen. We just heard what's happening out there, and that's pretty scary. What they're talking about, the rolling out of the vaccine.
Oh, you know what? There's another virus going around in Florida.
A variant of the virus has showed up. Yes, it has.
That's a stop the madness.
Eso está loco, brother. You know, and people aren't taking this serious, and people who don't take it serious, it doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean?
Bueno, tú sabes que también en África hay otra que salió, which is combined with the Ebola and the COVID.
You know, mira, esto, you know, and this, we've never seen this in our lifetimes or in the history of the world, recorded history of the world. Pero mi abuela decía, cuando la gente decía, oh, el mundo se va a acabar, ella decía, no, el mundo no se va a acabar. La gente se va a acabar.
Yeah.
Y el mundo se va a quedar aquí.
Sí.
And you know, and when they talk about the virus, nosotros somos el virus. We're the virus.
Well, you know what?
With the virus,
I think
and
the human being is
the virus.
inventing stuff, and they can't control it.
Well, we are the virus, bro. We are. We're
Yeah.
the virus on the planet, and the planet has found a way of getting rid of us.
You know? I saw a documentary that had to do with the American Indian here, right, in North America. Entonces, cuando vinieron aquí para las Américas, que supuestamente trajeron bunch of viruses from Europe.
Oh, yes.
You know, and this is how, and then it migrated to other viruses.
Dude, when the English came, they bring blankets infected with smallpox and chickenpox.
You know, they said there was
and gave it to the Indians.
There was no such thing as rat when North America here with the Indians. There was no such thing as rat.
No, they were mouse, and they were you could actually hunt them and eat them.
And there was no pig. And there was no pig.
There was no pigs. There was no horses.
There was.
No, there
wasn't
was
nothing.
No horses over here.
So they brought.
That's right. They bring the diseases on their ships, and it still happens till this day, where cosas are transmitted through the water on the ships, man.
Could you think this is another with the dinosaur?
I don't know, man.
Dinosaur age.
Pero lo que yo sé es esto. Uno, you got to use common sense. You go to your house. El pejo se cagó por toda la casa, ¿ok?
No, eso está mal.
Ok, tú llegas a tu casa y el pejo está cagado por toda la casa y tú tienes que limpiar porque esta es tu casa, tú lo tienes que limpiar. El pejo estaba enfermo and you got to take care of it, right?
Yeah.
Logic says que te va a poner los guantes. Logic says that you're going to use tissues and rags and gloves.
And then throw that stuff
away. That's logical.
Yeah.
Well, brother, there's a virus in the planet. There's a thing killing people.
Yeah.
There is a thing. Don't you think it's logical? Coño, what's the minimum que yo puedo hacer para protegerme? Déjame ponerme una máscara, unos guantes, déjame lavarme las manos un poco más. No voy a salir todo el tiempo como antes por un rato. You know what I mean? That's logical shit, bro.
That's common sense.
Come on, man.
That's common sense, yeah.
It's crazy, bro.
It's sick.
You know?
Yeah.
So I listen, and it's gotten so out of control. I got something for you here, bro.
Uh-oh.
I got senator. I got a senator here.
Oh, is that Migelito? Let me go open the door.
Open the door.
Yes.
You know, we got an early showing here of the Latin Jazz and Salsa show, and that's because Mr. William Estemera from Stop the Madness Latino Radio on WHAP, with our sister show on WHAP, stopped into the studio el año nuevo para empezar el año nuevo, y it's gonna be pretty cool. Y por ahí entra Migelito, brother. You know. So what the point that what's happening, Mike? We're on the air live right now, brother. Okay. Well, el punto es, gracias a Dios, mira Migelito, give him a hand, bro. Vaya, brother. Way to go, man. So Miguelito, thank you for coming in, bro. You jorobado y todo con la pierna, man. You know, thank you, man. You know. Tienes tape en la rodilla. So we were talking about this particular senator that is so fed up with what has happened with this administration that he's calling for the starting of a new party.
At least a handful of Republican senators are expected to join the congressional challenges to the Electoral College vote. Let's get the insights of former Defense Secretary and Republican Senator William Cohen. Secretary Cohen, thanks for being on with us. Let me get right to this. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is now giving Republicans room to vote their conscience, is how it's being described, on these objections. And as a Republican and a former
Wait a minute. Wait.
Senator,
Wait.
what is your response?
They're asking, Mitch McConnell told the Republican senators to vote their conscience. Do you actually have to tell somebody that? Shouldn't that be the norm?
And you know what?
Shouldn't it be the norm that you think, yo voy a votar por mi conciencia porque estoy protegiendo mi gente?
It's sick. It's sick. It's sick. And you know what? This is what kills me on this one right here. That these are these are educated lawmen. These are educated people. Not men, I'm men and women. These are educated people.
Yeah, doctors, lawyers, educators.
They have an education.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I just can't believe it.
It is incredible, bro.
To this effort at this late stage, last-ditch stage in the process, despite all the evidence, to try to overturn the will of the American people?
Well, I think it's shameful. And those who are going to express their conscience by voting to support this effort to overturn the elections are shameless. You have to remember that the current occupant of the White House is a ringmaster. And what he expects to do is to snap his whip and all of the elephants jump on the chairs. And what they have to understand, those who are so eager to support this effort to overturn the vote of the American people, what they have to understand is he's going to continue to snap the whip, whether he's in office or out of office. And every time they're going to have to jump up and sit on that stool in order to satisfy him and his supporters. So this is the time when the senator says it's time for him to stand up. I think it's time for him to stand up for the Constitution. I think it's time for the senators to stand up for the Constitution. That's the oath that they swore to abide by and to enforce. Instead, they're trying to please the man who has lost the election. He went to the voters. The voters voted him out. He went to the electors certified the results. He went to the courts, and the courts rejected him. Now he's making a last stand with the United States Senate and the House in order to overturn and invalidate the votes of those principally in the states where there's a large minority voting population. You know, it seems, given the history of this country in terms of slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, and now the effort to go to those particular areas and say you want to minimize or overturn the votes of minorities, black people, and others.
That is sick.
Do you hear? This is a Republican senator calling them out, man.
This is sick.
He's calling his own party out, bro.
So you know what? Well, this. I'm surprised that nobody has come back and said that if they really truly believe that there was something going on with the electoral votes. If there was really something going on, so let's bring it back to 2016. Because if you definitely believe that there was some kind of stuff going on within the electric vote, then let's go back to 2016. Let's reestablish that situation and look into it. Why didn't they say, hey, if you really believe today, that means you were part of in 2016 and realize that, yes, there was something going on. That's the only thing I could think of. You know what I'm saying? But hey,
aquí viene Migelito trayendo coquito, bro, del coquito, bro.
Stop the madness, man.
Coquito, brother, coquito.
Salud, ching, ching.
The truth is, the only questioning of the election votes are in states that he lost.
And you know what? But you know what the funny thing is too. This is the thing. I'm not so. You know, I'm a common sense kind of guy. So and if you think that the election was like based on that, so the Republicans that were voted, then we need to look at theirs also, because in reality that's the case. If you really think that every election has a flaws, then get all the Democrats, all the Republicans, all of them. That's really the situation.
The Attorney General of the United States of America that was appointed by Donald Trump said there was no voter fraud.
And Homeland Security, the director
of Homeland Security,
no voter
by
fraud.
Who? By the President of the United States.
And there was no election.
In Georgia, the Republican in charge of the elections said there is no voter fraud. Exactly. So what we have here are people that are inbred. First, you have to understand that they married their cousins or their mothers married their brothers. That their mothers and father, like their mother is their sister type of thing. You know what I mean?
That's a stop the madness situation
those
there.
Are the
Can't
people.
make that shit up.
Those are the people que están. We're not on HAP.
Okay.
This is Oasis, baby. Oasis, papi.
Yes.
You know,
stop the madness.
We have to say that President Russian Penis Breath and his followers.
Stop the madness.
Están into a deep psychosis, bro. There's some deep, psychosis, conspiracy theory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this would have to be that all the judges in all the states,
everybody had to be involved.
The senators, Republicans, Democrats, everybody is involved in this conspiracy against Trump. And if that is true, then everybody doesn't want you anyway. So what the hell are you talking about?
I really
You know?
So take away the electoral college voting procedures,
Right.
And let's go with the
Popular
popular
vote.
He still loses.
That's right.
And
Let's take away the electoral college.
Let's
take
take that away.
Let's take the popular vote, and let's go. I said you lost. How's that?
yeah. Oh no. Yeah. I'd rather see him locked up.
Yeah, he's gonna get locked up somewhere.
I truly. That's my New Year's resolution.
Bro, ese tipo, they don't
That I
even
wish.
want him in Florida, bro.
No, la gente no quieren en
They
Florida.
don't even want him in Florida. No venga pa' acá, tipo.
Yeah, and
Que
I
lo
heard-
que tú traes es controversia.
Listen, and I heard a rumor that Russia doesn't want him there either.
Bro, you know what he did? This is the real deal. Well, check it out. So you know there's that hotel, that famous, they just recently knocked it down in Russia. That hotel where they had it, when they built it, they had a sound equipment in it, cameras in it.
Yeah, that one room that's not, that one floor, the one floor that's not there no more.
Right, that they when they built the hotel, the KGB had all this shit built into
Yeah.
it. Guess where Donald Trump stayed when he went to Russia?
It doesn't surprise me.
Bro, el tipo es un estúpido, bro. He went over there, they got something on him. You know que es un bellaco. You know que es un bellaco. They
Well,
got him
you know,
banging a goat. He had a goat brought up to the
Yeah,
bedroom.
Of course, you have to understand who's involved in this. You know,
Right.
the KGB, they're smart.
Bro.
They know.
Putin was a star. Putin was a star in
Who you
the
think?
KGB. Right?
Yeah.
Putin was one of the KGB
He
stars.
was.
He was a star of, yeah.
He
You know?
he was like the director
Yeah,
of the
man.
KGB, and now
Yeah.
he's the el presidente.
For life. Ahí, mira, re-election.
Yeah,
Matando
re-election.
los competitors, you know?
No, it's un rumor.
It's a rumor.
Es un rumor.
But every time there's a serious competitor, el tipo sale enfermo.
Ven
Tiene,
acá, una
tiene
pregunta.
una cancer en
Una
it, you know?
pregunta. On Oasis Broadcasting Network dijeron que la dirección que es aquí.
Ajá. ¿Qué es eso?
No, dijeron. Aquí, si buscan Oasis Broadcasting Network, is the address located here?
Yeah, yeah. No,
Okay.
we have it out
I
in
wanna make
Hopewell.
sure-
I think we put your...
That's what I'm saying.
No, listen. If you guys want to talk to us, come over. If you don't agree with what we're saying, because we're always willing to have a conversation in the parking lot, come over to the studio at WHAP 96.9 FM.
Oh my God!
Come by, stop by over there, and we're here
You
right
know,
now.
Listen. No. No, this is Oasis Broadcasting Network. Let's leave WHAP out of this one.
But you can meet me at the
No, tampoco. Ay, Dios mío. Tampoco. This is okay, people. We'll just
Now
joking.
I got another one.
All right, what do you got?
Senator Webb. Boom, boom, boom. All right, here we go. Looking back at the defining falsehoods in the Trump
From
campaign.
inauguration crowd size to cries of voter fraud in the 2020 presidential election and just about everything in between, Donald Trump's presidency has been filled with false claims and conspiracy theories. NBCnews.com checked out some of the most outrageous falsehoods of his presidency. And you know what that means. It is time to bring in our friendly fact checker one more time this year. Jane, you are officially my last interview of 2020. Couldn't imagine wrapping up the year with anybody else. NBCnews.com political reporter Jane Tim. So Jane, hit us with some of the biggest falsehoods from the president's presidency, if you will.
You know, we've been doing these annual lists of the biggest falsehoods every year, but for this one, we wanted to look into what were the sort of defining fundamental falsehoods of his entire presidency. And for me, that came down to downplaying COVID was, I think, the biggest one. That was saying it was just like the flu, stay calm, it'll go away. In these critical early days, told us containment possible and it would need a really strong, unified response. You had a president who was downplaying it while privately telling reporter Bob Woodward that he knew it was much worse than he was saying. Next on my list was voter fraud. Of course, the president saying that he won the 2020 election when he didn't, and saying that there were millions of illegal votes. That we know is not true. The election was devoid of pretty much any kind of substantive fraud, as most elections are, actually all U.S. elections recently. Voter fraud is obviously an isolated and anecdotal issue. It's not a big deal, but the president has been saying this since, 2016. When he won the 2016 election, he claimed he only lost the popular vote to Hillary Clinton because of voter fraud. So we perhaps shouldn't have been surprised when you look back at the falsehoods through history. The other two ones, of course, foreign meddling in the election. That was a really big one. This is something that eventually got him impeached when he took up this conspiracy theory in Russia and that the servers were some Ukraine. There's absolutely no evidence of that. And it's actually a falsehood that the Russian intelligence have pushed, the idea that Ukraine was responsible for the hacking of the lot of in that, I think, from it's kept me very busy.
Bueno. Go ahead. Can you put me up
Jane,
some
to that
music?
end, I have to ask you two quick questions before we go. One, have you been able to keep a tally of just how many total falsehoods there have been? Are they too many? And what are you going to do come January 20th? I remember asking you once what you did before this, and I think you told me you covered like Americana and things like that. Do you plan to continue doing this into the new year?
Well, I will be there covering politics and fact-checking the new president-elect. You never stop fact-checking, no matter who's in office. But as for the account, there's many, many thousands. I have not personally counted, but the Washington Post has a tally of 26,000 falsehoods while the president was in office, which is whew.
That's a whole long list there. Jane, we have been so grateful for your fact checking. We look forward to more of your fact checking in 2021. And let's see how the numbers stack up if Joe Biden and President Trump are on the same page or if it's a very different story. Thanks so much, Jane.
See you next year, Allison.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.
A todos, es el 22 de agosto 2020 y hoy vamos a grabar. We're going to record a segment for the Latin Jazz and Salsa Show con Tito Puente Jr. y mis muchachos. Así que estamos gozando. Vamos para allá.
El man with the plan. ¡Vamos!
Vaya.
¿Qué hay?
Tranquilo, aquí encendido con Melina, con la muñeca de la salsa.
Sonríete. ¿Y tú? ¿Te vas a sonreír?
Estás escuchando mi pana, mi hermano Sweet Lou y Migelito el Guiro en el Latin Jazz y Salsa Show. Dale para adelante, de la cosa.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sweet Louis Hidalgo, and welcome to the 13th Annual Latin Jazz and Salsa Show Festival, a virtual experience. No se lo pierdan, mi gente, que van a gozar tremendamente. This concert is brought to you by Dominion Energy. If you need the power, Dominion Energy is there for you. Master and Sons Plumbing, second generation of fine service. Rosie's Gaming Emporium. If you got the time, they got the place. Tim Taylor Agency, State Farm Insurance, and AARP. It's not just para los viejitos. You're going to have a fantastic time. Esto va a ser tremendo. We have Melina Amoldoval, La Muñeca de la Salsa, featuring Tito Puente Jr. That's a fantastic shot. We also have Luisito Rosario and his hit, Belén. We have Luis Ramirez and Latin Movement. We have Leonardo Garcia y Son Horizonte, local legend and artist Kevin Davis and Bancaribe, local coming up artist Miss Friday Love and her new hit Gorilla, and much, much more. This show is going to be fantastic. I'm going to sit back, enjoy myself, and don't forget, you can listen to the Latin Jazz and Salsa Show every Saturday on WHAP 96.9 FM, 1340 on your AM dial, every Saturday from 12:30 to 3:30 for your listening pleasure, the one and only Latin Jazz and Salsa Show, celebrating 16 years on the air and 13 festivals. Vamos a gozar, mi gente. Esto va a ser tremendo.
Estás escuchando a mi pana, mi hermano Sweet Lou y Miguelito el Guiro en el Latin Jazz y Salsa Show. Dale para adelante, de la cosa.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Vaya, mira quién llegó, Luisito Rosario. Estás escuchando a mi pana, mi hermano Sweet Lou y Miguelito el Guiro en el Latin Jazz y Salsa Show. Dale para adelante, de la cosa.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sweet Louis Hidalgo, and welcome to the 13th Annual Latin Jazz and Salsa Show Festival, a virtual experience. No se lo pierdan, mi gente, que van a gozar tremendamente. This concert is brought to you by Dominion Energy. If you need the power, Dominion Energy is there for you. Master and Sons Plumbing, second generation of fine service. Rosie's Gaming Emporium. If you got the time, they got the place. Tim Taylor Agency, State Farm Insurance, and AARP. It's not just para los viejitos. You're going to have a fantastic time. Esto va a ser tremendo. We have Melina Amoldoval, La Muñeca de la Salsa, featuring Tito Puente Jr. That's a fantastic shot. We also have Luisito Rosario and his hit, Belén. We have Luis Ramirez and Latin Movement. We have Leonardo Garcia y Son Horizonte, local legend and artist Kevin Davis and Bancaribe, local coming up artist Miss Friday Love and her new hit Gorilla, and much, much more. This show is going to be fantastic. I'm going to sit back, enjoy myself, and don't forget, you can listen to the Latin Jazz and Salsa Show every Saturday on WHAP 96.9 FM, 1340 on your AM dial, every Saturday from 12:30 to 3:30 for your listening pleasure, the one and only Latin Jazz and Salsa Show, celebrating 16 years on the air and 13 festivals. Vamos a gozar, mi gente. Esto va a ser tremendo.
Vuelvo a besar escondidas, nuevamente las horas medidas. Ha pasado no sé cuánto tiempo desde aquel nuestro último encuentro. Como el aire que toca tu pelo, como lluvia que dejas caer. Así soy para ti en los momentos que deseo volverte a tener. Y me siento un juguete en tus brazos, que al mirarte pierdo la razón.
Siempre seré
dejas caer. Así soy para ti en los momentos que deseo volverte a tener. Y me siento un juguete en tus brazos.